want to see if I can get this old Tecumseh engine running. I picked this up on Marketplace for free. Just wanted to get rid of it. It was pretty cool. And making sure it has compression, which it does. Carburetor doesn't look like it's full of, dust and everything. I mean, it's dirty, but this thing's from like the 60's probably. So what do you expect? It's used. I mean, it's been redone before. It's line and everything on it. Had a little bit of oil, not a lot. It kind of looks like it came off a snowblower. But go ahead, put oil in it and see if it'll actually start. Well, first I gotta make sure it has spark, because that's the most important thing. So I might have to make a couple parts to this, I'm not sure. But this doesn't have spark. And I gotta take off the flywheel so I can get at either, hopefully it's a coil, but for how old this is, it might actually be points. So that'll be fun to do. Alright, so now, to get this flywheel off, get you a piece of rope and stuff it in there. Alright, now, once the rope's in there, you can't turn it to the left at all. If you're working on a bench, make sure you clamp it down, otherwise this whole engine will just tip that way. And get a socket, and hopefully it'll come apart. So that came apart way easier than I thought it was going to, which that's always really good, especially working on stuff. Then typically you would put a gear puller in here to pull this out, but since this isn't really that rusty, I'm going to try to pry it with a pry bar and a screwdriver. Hopefully I don't break this, but that's not the way you take it apart, technically. Alright, so that didn't work, so I just rigged up my steering wheel puller onto this. Alright, everything's about equal. So let's go ahead and see if this... Oh shit, I forgot the rope. Alright, so I got it off. Now with the steering wheel puller, I just put a pry bar back underneath here. I screwed this bolt over the top of it and kind of pry it back. Hit it with a hammer, flywheel pops off. It's not technically the right way, but the other way wasn't working, so it looks like I have points, and it's gonna be the first time that you guys are probably gonna learn it, and I'm probably gonna learn it too, because I have not done points. Newer engine is just a coil, so usually if it doesn't have spark, you just replace, basically it looks like this, it's just one chunk, but these are probably stuck together, and that's why I'm not getting spark. Well, it's not stuck, so that's good. This little lobe thing presses this back and forth, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to redo points, because this is all new to me. Well, old stuff, but new. Honestly, those points might not be bad. Might be. Where is that magnet? I'm going to sand this down, and hopefully, once I get rid of that rust, this magnet will be a little bit better and actually complete a circuit. And then I'll go ahead and sand these down, that way this will work better. There we go. Magnet's nice and shiny. This part is nice and shiny. I guess and that's why I don't have spark, because it couldn't complete the circuit. And the guy said it's been sitting on a shelf for a while. So I'm going to try that, put it back together, and hopefully I'll get spark. But I'll go ahead and test this with an electrical tester, make sure, everything's connected like it should be. Yeah, that does have continuity through it. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it all back together after I sanded that. Hopefully that was a problem. And I already gapped it. Well, I didn't gap it, I checked it, but it is correct, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw all this back. So I found out why it doesn't have spark. I'm gonna have to redo this piece. I'm guessing this is corroded because I got it to spark sometimes, not all the time. So this is probably my bad connection. So that's the piece from that spark plug connector from that engine. And that's all like super corroded and everything, and I think that's why the bad connection is not working. So I'm gonna go and pick up a better one instead of the old style where they clip on the sides. I'm gonna get one that actually is a cap. I should have just enough wire where I can strip this down a little bit and redo the connection, and hopefully I'll get good spark. Alright, went out, got the new connector, put it together, cut the wire, stripped it back a little bit, so hopefully get really good spark now. I also bought another spark plug because why not? See if this has good spark. I got it to spark decently. I don't think this was getting a good enough connection to this corroded piece. Since I have it apart, I'm gonna go ahead and paint this. Just really cheap restore sweet cream. Because or the sweet cream is nasty cream, I guess. I don't know. It's a lot harder to do while you're looking at the fucking camera. Might be too cold to do this too. Take forever for this shit to dry. I know you should probably prep this, sand it, but I don't care. That shit didn't work, so I'm gonna go with the gloss khaki. It's gonna look like shit brown as that. That's not too bad. It's a little bit darker. That spray's a lot nicer. Paint this ugly gasket. Does look a lot nicer with the coat of paint on it. Now the paint well. Now it needs discard. Well, it's starting to look a lot better. Probably not going to take this apart to paint this because then I would need to get a new head gasket. Don't feel like doing that, so I might just do what the people did before. Because they just painted over everything. Because this side of the cylinder was all metal. The easy way to sneak that gas line through is get like a screwdriver, clean it off, and then take your fuel tube, put it in there. I got some nice clean oil in there, so now time to put some fuel in. Alright, so I turned the gas valve on. Everything looks all nice and dry. And then this did actually flow fuel, so hopefully it'll start. Of course, I'm standing on a flipping chair on this workbench. Don't do this. Ooh, I fired one. Alright, now I got this piece on. So it's on the start. Right. It's gonna be some shitty camera work because it's just me trying to do this. Bear with me. See if the kill switch works.